Deanne Keed. I just like to add on to what Anna is saying. I before starting this traineeship, the workplaces that were going to get a trainee. So I did a traineeship before Anna Fraser had. And before you would enter that workplace, whatever directorate, whatever workplace you would go into, the people that you would work with had to be had to do a cultural awareness training, but it's mandatory for them to do that anyways. In saying that, Anna and myself had a really horrible experience with our previous workplace, and since then have been pushed around to workplaces where we really don't have a role. It's not our position. We're just there to help anyone, you know. In saying all of that, we got a bit of feedback from the whole process, and a lot of what they'd done at our previous workplace was they implemented all this stuff after we left. So there's no Aboriginal workers out there now, and we're not there, but they're doing all this stuff for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Shouldn't things like, the RAP, be implemented before we go out? The cultural awareness training, shouldn't everyone, not just for us because we're going out there, but for themselves? But like two-way learning, like we've learned a lot in that workplace. But yeah, now we're stuck. We're at these positions we don't own, and we have to return back to that workplace even though we don't feel comfortable to. So there's just nothing, because they're not our real workplace, there's no development plan, anything.
Lyle Swan, ETD. Like I said earlier, reiterate, I've been employed with ETD in the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Education section for the last 7 or so years. I have not been afforded a promotion in any way since being there. Since being there, I'm classed as an ASO4. I've applied for higher level positions that have always been overlooked because of the ingrained cronyism within the ACT public service. Thank you.
Chair, wondering whether anybody else has had any experiences relating to racism or bullying because of your culture or the culture of others within your workplace?
Lynette here. I know, like I said, Deanne's, 22, 23, but even from myself, mature age, you still need a mentor because, like I said, I was the only Aboriginal person in previous position against, 16 non-Aboriginal people. And, they're all university masters educated, and, here I am, didn't even finish high school. But, throughout life, like I said, went and done studies and, got my own way. And you don't realise, like I said, it's, here I am, and not only just by the colour of my skin, it's from everything, from, like I said, they're all been well educated. Like I'm educated now, but in saying that, I've requested an ASO mentor because, like I said, I felt out of place. And, like I said, for these young guys to be struggling, through their workplace and, even a mature age to even be asking for a mentor. But I was never given one. I was never lucky, like I said, in this new role. I've got, and that's what like I was saying earlier, in this new role, I've been given more opportunities, and like I said, I've already got the mentor in place, given study opportunities for next year, and, to me, female Aboriginal woman, I'm doing my family proud and my culture proud and serving back to the community. But, like to know, we all need mentors with, mature and these young people as well.
Suzette Fay, in response, Yvette, to your question about facing racism, I've been very fortunate in all the schools that I've visited. You get some. I'm pretty thick-skinned. I just sort of glance past it. I go to every school and look straight away for my champions and allies, and I focus on them. They're not always, as I explained to some others, the principal or deputy either. Sometimes they can be the front office person. But I did have one time, and you laugh at it now, but I was a bit shocked at the time, one very respected and highly trained member of a teacher in ACT education say to me one time, Suzette, I can't believe you're Aboriginal. You speak too well. And after I picked my jaw up off the ground, I just get about my business. I did remind her, though, I was educated in the ACT government school system.
The other day we had the Public Service Commissioner come in and tell us that only ever been one complaint of racism in the ACT Public Service, given that the Human Rights Commission campaign about race stops with me talks about 1 in 5 Australians experiencing hearing race hate language, that 1 in 20 people have been assaulted because of their race. Obviously there's a level of racism out there in the community. It also must be reflected at some stage within the ACT Public Service. So why do you think there are so few complaints?
Because of mainly they're coming in under contract. Sorry, like I said, contract, and they know if they say something, the contract will end and back to the unemployment line. Bad reputation.
Darren Chong. I think it's a good question. I think it's quite confronting whether you're in the ACT Public Service or not, racism. And I've been pretty lucky, but I've been around it, like where I've seen people being affected by it. I think if you don't, from my point of view, I see a lot of our people that don't have enough confidence to come forward and understand what the processes are to go forward. It's really been in an environment where they feel safe, confident, where they're understood to a degree, that they can go to maybe the Red Officer or the HR. Like in outside of ACT government, if we were just average Joes, obviously we would handle this a lot differently. But we've got to handle it in a bureaucratic matter. So it's for us understanding how do we do this ourselves. It's quite a lot to take in.
Still say bureaucratic.
Slightly, and probably because lack of support. A lot of Aboriginal public servants are isolated within some sections and departments.
That's right.
So that isolation can have a lot of mental issues with them, and therefore they're not confident.
Lynette here, like I said, just around what most of these people are saying is, you are confronted in your workplace, but it's like, culturally where you just go and tell another Aboriginal worker, and you moan and whinge about it there. But like I said, it's that lack of support. You don't know who your Red Officer is. You don't know, who to go and approach because, you're only that little pebble. And like I said, most of the time, 8 out of 9 people I know would rather resign rather than put a complaint in because it becomes hard as a lot of people can't deal with the process of once you put that in. So whether they just rather just leave the department. I think it's the process that's got a lot to do with it as well when you put a complaint in.
I'm lucky Tanya from AMC. I'm lucky, like where I'm at the AMC, my work colleagues are really supportive, and but what I would like is more cultural support. I'd like to attend the meetings and the network meetings and be involved with some of the Indigenous stuff that's happening on the outside. You know, because being over there, I'm isolated a little bit, but I'd like to be involved. And even what they said about Darren, that the bureaucrats, it's hard. Me being an Aboriginal person, working where I'm working, still being a part of the community and trying to be a bureaucrat at the same time and trying to stay grassroots planted, and I struggle with it every day. And I think with the and where I am, like the mob inside there, they keep me planted. For sure, they keep me planted. But then I could lose focus of the bureaucrat side of it too. Like I'm still under the legislation and the guidelines stuff of the AMC, and it's hard. It's hard with the community stuff and where I'm at. I'd like more cultural support and be with network meetings and whatever other meetings, because I don't know what goes on out there, but I'd like to know what goes on out there.
Deanne Keed and